Hi everyone, my name's Ian Gibbs. I'm the Director of Data Leadership and Learning at JICMAIL, and I'm going to be walking you through a short training module on how to extract planning insight from the JICMAIL database. In this module, we're going to be focusing on mail content and looking at what elements of mail creative are most likely to drive an interaction or commercial outcome with mail. Okay, so in our previous module, we looked at how you extract information from the JICMAIL item database as to how people are physically interacting with DM and door drops, and also the commercial outcomes that you can expect as well. Now what we're going to do now, and I think it's probably most useful for planners, is to have a look at what the drivers of those actions are. What we're going to do is we're going to look at specific actions, specific outcomes that you might be interested in, and figuring out what type of mail content is most associated with those outcomes. So for example, to start with, we are going to look at, we're going to look at DM. So I'm going to put addressed advertising into our base here. Now you'll notice when we select addressed advertising, our sample size has gone down to 26,196 items, because just as a reminder, the item database isn't a person-centric database, it's a mail item-centric database. And let's say that we are interested in a mail action which is reading, looking or glancing at. So we want to figure out the type of content that people are most commonly looking at when reading their DM. So we're going to put that action into our columns, and then we're going to go back to mail description. We're going to open up the addressed advertising or DM codebook and go to content, and these are all the different types of content we can look at. And we're going to put those into our rows, and we're now going to rank that on vertical percentage. So what this is telling us is that 61.7% of all DM that is read, looked or glanced at tends to contain information about products or services. 20.5% contains special offers or discounts. A similar amount contains sender contact details, and 12.84% contains vouchers or coupons. Now this picture will vary depending on your industry category. You can also overlay target audience information, but you just start to get a sense of this type of content you should think about including when you're looking to drive specific actions or outcomes. That was a physical interaction, so a question that we often get from planners tends to relate to the fact, well, is it worth including vouchers or discount codes with my door drops? Especially if you're not seeing many redeemed. So what I'm going to do here is just clear our rows and look at a different example now. Now the outcome that we're going to look for, this time we're going to look for commercial actions, and we're going to look at whether or not an item has driven store footfall. So there's this variable here about whether an item has prompted someone to visit a sender's shop or office. So I'm going to put this into the columns. The mail description, so we're going to look at door drops this time, so I'm going to put those into the bases. Just select door drops. You'll notice our sample size has now changed to 12,217 mail items. And in terms of mail content, so we're going to look at door drops here, door drops content, and we're now going to look at door drops that contain vouchers or coupons. And we're going to look at door drops that contain special offers or discounts. Now in terms of how we read this data, what this tells us is that 0.98%, so nearly 1% of door drops drive people into advertiser stores. Now door drops that contain special offers or discounts, well 2% of those drive people into advertiser stores. They're doubly as effective. If you then consider door drops that contain vouchers or coupons, well over 3% of those drive people into stores. They're 3 times as effective. So we're starting to paint a picture here where even if an advertiser is seeing that their vouchers or discount codes aren't being redeemed, there's clearly still a benefit to including them. They're driving footfall into bricks and mortar retail locations. And those are just 2 very simple examples about how we can use a combination of mail item data relating to actions and mail content data to figure out the interplay between the two and assess what drives mail response.